3 Feet from Gold, Financial Literacy, and How to Play Big with special guest Sharon Lechter on this episode of Unlock Your Wealth Today. Your life fully invested. Welcome to Unlock Your Wealth Today, your life fully invested. I'm your purveyor of prosperity and host, Heather Wagenhals, and on today's episode, I'm making success simple by bringing you a returning guest for National Financial Literacy Month, Sharon Lechter. As an entrepreneur, best-selling author, philanthropist, international speaker, mentor, licensed CPA, and a chartered global management accountant, Sharon Lechter is the premier expert for financial literacy and seeker of success. She is co-author of the international bestseller Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and has written 14 other books in the Rich Dad series and built the empire into the world's leading personal finance brand. Starting in 2008, she began working with the Napoleon Hill Foundation to help re-energize the brand and has released 3 best-selling books in cooperation with the foundation, including Think and Grow Rich, 3 Feet from Gold, Outwitting the Devil, and Think and Grow Rich for Women. Sharon has also released Save Wisely, Spend Happily in cooperation with the American Institute for CPAs and served a 2-year term on the President's Advisory Council for Financial Literacy. Well, it's so good to have you back on the show, Sharon.
I'm excited to be here, Heather, always.
And this is our first time in television now, so we've done radio for so long.
And I could have said 2 redheads, but It's not red anymore. So.
But it's funny we switched, because I'm a natural blonde, actually. So we've got that going.
That's right.
I'm going to be Sharon today.
Okay.
Hi. So financial literacy. So it's April, it's Financial Literacy Month. We've visited this over the years. Why is it so much more critical now than ever?
Well, Heather, we think about, you heard the comment, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. Mm-hmm. Well, that's because we learn about money at home. So the rich kids learn how to make money and the poor kids learn how to not make money. And so the only way we can turn that around is to have financial education in the school systems, and that's through financial literacy. And if you're already out of school and you're either a master of your money or a slave to it, and most people know exactly which one they are right away.
Yes.
You have a responsibility to train yourself, because financial education is the education of a lifetime. And so the whole, it's become a buzzword, which is not always good, financial literacy, but really become financially educated so that you can take control of your life and not worry every time you put your head on the pillow, worry about how you're going to pay the bills tomorrow. So that financial literacy is essential. My friend Rita Davenport says, money is just like oxygen, right? You got to have it.
You got to have it.
Yeah.
One of the things that I have found, and I was one of those kids that grew up poor, and so even though I was able to make a lot of money in my early 20s, away it went. And it didn't matter, because I was making money. I was a stockbroker. I was making rich people rich. Mm-hmm. But yet there was a disconnect between what I knew about money and what I did with money. Mm-hmm. And so how does financial education bridge that gap? Because literally, I spoke the language of money, but I wasn't able to make that switch to the other side where the education actually benefited me. How do we make that switch?
Well, that's because we're trained to be employees. We're trained to exchange time for money. And it's really not what you do for your paycheck, it's what you do with your paycheck. And so we're not trained how to make it, keep it, invest it, grow it. And because we're not taught that in school, we don't do it. More money comes in, more money to spend. And we think of, and today with instant credit, it makes it even worse. And so the concept is to change your mindset from that of exchanging time for money is to investing time to buy, build, or create assets. And those assets become the income generators. Because to be financially free is when your assets, the income from your assets, exceed your monthly expenses. And every rich person in the world has that same formula. They all own assets, and that's what we're not taught about at school, is to create things that will make money for you while you're sleeping. That's how you can become financially free.
So one of the things that I hear a lot when people say, okay, well, yeah, I get that I need to learn about money, but I don't make a whole lot of money. And so where am I to start the process of, okay, so I'm making this money, but now how do I get an asset? How do I go from this money to the next step?
Well, it's never been easier to create assets, because with the ability to be online, you can have a full-time job and still start a small business on the side online. You can use your brain. Intellectual property is the number one asset creation in the world. And that's you're already an expert in your field. Nobody else has your successes or your failures. Write a book. And it's never been easier to publish a book. Then you need to figure out how to build a platform around it. But that's what I teach people. I teach people how to take what's up here and become the authority in their field, and then create income producing assets from that knowledge.
Well, what if I don't have a college degree? What if I went to the Hard Knocks University instead of a traditional, like 4-year brick and mortar kind of fancy certificate on the wall?
Well, some of the richest people on the globe did not have college educations, and dropped out of college, as a matter of fact. So they learned on the streets, because they understood what they were learning in college wasn't going to get them where they wanted to go. An entrepreneurial mindset. A lot of us say, what is your why? You love what you do what you love. Well, for an entrepreneur, when I decided to become an entrepreneur at the ripe old age of 25, it was because I said, why not? Why not do something different? Successful businesses solve a problem or serve a need. And there's certainly a lot of problems and needs out there. And so find out what you feel strongly about and create a business around it. And as long as you continue solving a problem and serving a need, the money will come. So.
Oh, well, I like that. I like the way, it's simple. Mm-hmm. It's very simple and elegant. So for example, you've got a bunch of new things that you're always up to something. Every time we talk, it's always something exciting and new and different. And you did some really great stuff with Napoleon Hill, and really updating that material and making it more relevant for folks today. Where do we start? What's the first step? Is it, just having the gumption to get started, coming up with that idea, or is there a process of educating to get started?
Well, I think the first one is making a decision. Okay. Too many of us, we get comfortable. And then because we're comfortable, become complacent. Then we might have a crisis in our life, and it throws us into chaos. And the only way to get out of that is to make a decision to be creative again. All right. As kids, we're creative until we get into school and we're taught conformity. So, become creative again and start being curious. That curiosity is what's going to help you identify something that you can build a business around. But all of us, everyone watching this has probably had something that stopped them in their tracks. And that, I can sound like I know everything sitting here with you, Heather, but 6 years ago I lost my youngest son, and I stopped. I just couldn't get out of bed. I'm supposed to outlive your kids. And so even though I was still working, I was still writing, I was still speaking, the passion wasn't there. And so all of my career I played big. I was Disney, Warner Brothers, Time Life, and I stopped doing that. I started feeling small and playing small. And in fact, about 1.5 years ago, I thought about retiring. And I got a little pushback from family and friends, and I think even from my son. I think he said, get over it, Mom. There's more for you to do. It doesn't matter what age you are. You're still here for a reason. Mm-hmm. And there's more for you to do. And every one of you, there's stuff that you've learned in your life that can help others. So you have a responsibility to do that. And in doing that, you can create a business around it. And so I made the decision, just about 1 year ago, to kind of re-engage, play big again. Instead of retire, I say I'm now refiring. And that's something, and once I made that decision, so I come back to making the decision. Once I made that decision, I opened my brain up to being the person I was 10 years ago. And all of a sudden I'm invited, I'm on the Get Motivated stages. I'm now on a world tour for Think and Grow Rich World Tour. It's like you make yourself available by making the decision to move forward.
That's really exciting. And we have so much more to talk about with Sharon Lechter. You're watching Unlock Your Wealth Today. We'll be right back with more after this. Heather Wagenhals here, host of Unlock Your Wealth Today, and I'm pleased to announce ALB Piping presents 2019 Casino Night and Poker Tournament to benefit Friends of Freedom at Fumar Cigars, 2010 West Parkside Lane in Phoenix. I will be the event MC and broadcasting live to showcase what Friends of Freedom does to support veterans, active duty military, and their families. Join me for poker and blackjack fun, live auction items including trips, luxury resort stays, and so much more. For more details and to secure your spot at the table, please call 623-594-4020. That's 623-594-4020. I'm Heather Wagenhals, and I'm looking forward to seeing you at the poker tables. Welcome back to Unlock Your Wealth Today. My guest is Sharon Lechter, and so pick up the story. So we just talked about how you were playing small and you had to make the decision. I mean, starting out can also be starting over. So tell us more about playing big.
Well, for me, it was playing big again, waking up and getting myself out of, living my life in neutral. I'm sure everybody can think of a time in their life when you just my ups and downs weren't there because I was just numb. Just basically coasting, doing what needed to get done. In fact, I've written 22 books, and I haven't. They were coming out about every 9 months, and then I haven't released a book in 4 years. And I realized, and when I woke up and realized that, I said, "Wow, I really have been closed off and closed down." And so I have a new book coming out in September called Success and Something Greater, and it is with the Napoleon Hill Foundation. And you know somebody I have in the book.
Ooh, that could be.
So I'm excited to have Fred highlighted in the book. And it really is, we're talking to people about how they created their success and what their secret sauce was, or magic key. And it was really a fun project, and it's been in the works for, a couple of years. So I'm happy to see it coming to fruition and getting released in September. So I'm excited about that. So it's kind of spurred me back into the game. I've got 2 other books in the queue now that are coming in after that. So
very exciting.
Getting back in the saddle. But the whole Play Big movement was when I decided, when I really turned the switch back on, I said, I don't want to do this alone. I want to share what happened to me. Because a lot of people watch me or see me and they go, it's easy for her to say. We have to.
Oh, she lives the perfect life.
Yeah. And in fact, I got some advice from agents I have in New York that said, Sharon, you have to be more vulnerable. And I couldn't even say vulnerable. So
you want me to do what?
Wait a minute. I just spent my entire life becoming, strong in my career, and you want me to start being vulnerable. I didn't really talk about losing my son for the first 4 or 5 years. And they said, that's part of who you are. People need to know what you've gone through and that you can still rebound and relate to you. And it's been pretty magical. The first time I actually shared it from stage, I was in Liverpool in front of 1,400 people. And people were crying, people were coming up to me afterwards. I mean, it was such an incredible experience, and to realize that it is okay to be vulnerable. It is okay to show the things that we're going through, and that life is not perfect. Because a lot of people, in Outwitting the Devil, Napoleon Hill's book that I was able to release 73 years after it was written, because it was hidden away, he talks about the fear of criticism, and I think that's pervasive in today's society. People are so afraid of what other people are going to think of them, and they're afraid to look stupid or small. And so as a result, we put these veneers, and when you can open your veneer and be just real, people appreciate that, particularly the younger generation. And so I said, well, if I'm going to play big again, I want to share it so people know what I'm doing, what things that I'm putting in place so that they can emulate and do the same thing in their own life. So I created the Play Big movement, and the Facebook page is a private Facebook page, but it's free for anyone to join. Play Big Movement with Sharon Lechter. And I share the things that I'm doing. People have a chance to ask questions and interact. And then I also launched a course called the Play Big Movement course, which shows not just how, I have a money course that shows you how to get out of financial distress to break even, instead of being financially distressed, be financially confident. And then going from that stage to where you are financially free, knowing how to play big and how to find that next big association that can take what you're making and do a times 10 to it, right? And so that course I haven't even publicly launched it. It's been in soft launch for about 6 months, and it's been going really well.
Oh, well, that's exciting. And so now Unlock Your Wealth viewers will be able to participate. Mm-hmm. So I always like to get them in on the inside track, so that'll be exciting for them. I think that, I'm really I admire you so much. You are such a trailblazer as a woman, as a leader, as an author, and all that you do. And to be vulnerable, that's a big thing. I don't see people, because we get to this point, even, when you're putting yourself out there, it's almost like we feel like, well, we're trying to lead, so we need to show people the right way.
Strength. You need to be strong. Yeah.
And life happens. People lose people every day. If there's only one thing that we know for sure is that we're not going to be here someday.
And I think there's also a fear of being vulnerable. And just in the last couple of weeks, I've been at several events, and I've had people come up and say, "I always thought of you as so unapproachable," and I'm like, "Me?"
Yeah.
They said, "I'm just not ready for you." And I said, "How could you not be ready for me? I love working with people, helping them find the things that are going to make them." And she said, "Well, you just seem so perfect." And I'm going, "What?" and I guess I proved to them that I'm not. So definitely, it's when you've spent your entire career trying to become the authority, all right, then you do try not to show imperfections. But I'm trying to break through that now, because we're all human. We all have those things that, those days that we decide we want to be a couch potato and not be driving forward. So it's human nature, and it's okay.
Well, and I think that makes you an even better example, because you're saying, look, even I can be vulnerable. Even I have imperfections, but here I am, and I still want to help you. Mm-hmm. And I think that's probably the best thing that has come out of all of that, is that you chose to be able to play big again. And I'm really excited about it, because you've always been such a driving force and an inspiration to me. So
thank you.
It's been great having you.
Likewise.
Well, thanks. So if folks want to get to the movement, find your books, all 22 of them, how do folks connect with you?
Well, I'm Sharon Lechter everywhere. Sharon Lechter on Instagram, Sharon Lechter on Facebook. My professional page is Author Sharon Lechter on Facebook. You've got the Play Big Movement with Sharon Lechter on Facebook as well to join the movement. And my website is SharonLechter.com. So.
Outstanding. Well, thank you so much for being a part of today's show. And for those of you without a pencil, never fear. UnlockYourWealthToday.com is here, where you can visit the show page of Sharon's, get all the links to every single one of her resources, and so much more. For the maestro of Moolah, Michael Terry, I'm Heather Wagenhals. Now go out and unlock your wealth today.
UnlockYourWealthToday.com is produced by Heather Wagenhals and the Unlock Your Wealth Foundation. UnlockYourWealthToday.com and its affiliates are copyrighted 2018 with all rights reserved. For more information on the Keys to Riches Financial Wellness Series, please visit our website at www.unlockyourwealthtoday.com.